Welcome to the Travel Winds Podcast. Today, my guest is Jessie Peck. That's Jessie with an I. He is the bass singer for the group The Spinners. I can only tell you that I still have the 8-track of Rubber Band Man from my dad. So I've been listening to The Spinners since like 1975, 76.
Amazing.
And it's just, it's kind of an overnight success story for Jessie. Right?
Yeah. It came in and I was looking for something great. I didn't know what was going to come or how great it would be, but yeah, it truly came in and just like a whirlwind, just took over it and just altered my life. Indeed. Very happy to be a part of such an iconic group. It's been 13 years. It still feels new.
It's to me, it's kind of crazy because, you know, Detroit's a Motown, Detroit-based founded group. You have your Detroit background. It's kind of a big full circle there.
I guess so, depending on what angle you're looking at it from. Grew up in Detroit, born in Queens, New York, raised in Detroit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been entertaining since the 3rd grade. That was the first time I took to the stage. And I've been performing ever since. I was in high school, opening up on school nights for the OJs, Millie Jackson, you know, groups like that. And then showing up for school the next day, trying not to fall asleep in my 7th hour English class. You know, it was something. It's been quite a ride, quite an experience. I'm still enjoying it. It's still great. And I still have ultimate goals. And my ultimate goal is to have my own entertainment show, a talk show, kind of like, like say the Arsenio Hall show.
Yeah.
Where guests come on and perform. I interview them and all that good stuff, you know, and that's my ultimate. That's the top. Once I do that, then I can chill. I can retire. But for now, I'm enjoying being a member of an iconic group, the first group I ever saw perform, and traveling the world, meeting thousands of wonderful fans and making new friends. It's a wonderful experience, seeing great places I've never been before. You know, lots of beautiful cities around the country. You know, I'm really enjoying myself. It's awesome.
I was going to ask you, how, you know, obviously pre-COVID and then during COVID with the lockdown. In fact, how many concerts were you doing a year pre-COVID? And then I know you're starting to do them again, but
pre-COVID, we're probably doing between 50 and maybe 65 shows per year. Of course, COVID took it down to a big fat 0.
Yes, sir.
So it's great that, you know, a lot of mandates are being lifted.
Yeah.
Face mask requirements, testing, and all that kind of stuff. It's starting to go away. So I won't speak to the health side of it or people who have lost, you know, and all that. I mean, I've gone through that myself, but as far as the thing itself, you know, appearing to be coming to an end, as far as an entertainer who needs to be able to go out, travel and perform, shake hands, sign autographs, you know, for me, it's a good thing that this coming to a close. I was going to say that they're bringing it to a close, but they're not controlling it, you know.
For now. For this week.
Right.
Because how many times have we heard that? You know, I'm an outside sales rep, and I remember when they first shut it down, I was like, okay, I don't make money now.
Right. Basically, I mean, we don't make money. You don't go anywhere. You're locked in. You're indoors, and you know, and it was indefinite. There was no end date that was given to us. It's just you know, stay home.
Were you doing some voiceover work during the shutdown and all that? Were you finding
Yes. Now, then the voiceover work did decrease, you know, as a result of the pandemic, of course.
Sure.
But there was still some work. There was very little work, you know, here and there in the voiceover realm. Now, for me, it's picking back up, and I just picked up a wonderful new client that I'm very happy to be working with, and you know that's looking good as well. So. Yeah, things are great. Getting great again.
Was it fun? I always like the Spinners released a new record, Round the Block and Again.
Yes.
And it was released in 2021. So I mean that's the height of COVID. Like.
Yes. During the pandemic, while everyone was on lockdown, we decided to take advantage of that downtime for many years. I've been asking Henry, about the original spinner, about doing an album, and it was either the money wasn't there, or when the money's there, because we're working, it's, oh, we're too busy. There's no time. So it took a pandemic for us to get not one, but actually now 2 albums done. One's currently out, as you mentioned, Around the Block and Back Again. It's available on Spotify, eBay, and whatever music is sold. Get yours now.
iTunes.
And we've got a second album as well that I'm looking forward to seeing released this year. It should be in the first half of this year. So
that's
just
exciting.
waiting to see. Yeah, but that should be exciting as well.
And a lot of I'm trying to think back, a lot of the Motown groups didn't write their own music. And they had writing groups, and country music seems that really strong in that way too. But because the spinners might not have written their own music, is that a publishing thing where a lot of the bands I know have to tour to make money because they're not making it on the publishing end of it.
Well, I don't know about the Motown acts writing their own music. I know that Smokey, wrote a lot of music for
everybody.
Lots of Motown acts back in the day. Even the one hit that the Spinners have that we have on Motown, It's a Shame, that was written by Stevie Wonder. I don't know how many groups were actually writing their own material back then, but I don't, my education doesn't indicate that there were a lot of them. I think there were a few guys that to this day are fat cats like Smokey, because of all the effort and all the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the Spinners as a group had to tour to make money because they weren't making the publishing dollars necessarily.
Well, I baked it. Contraire mon frere, with the original Spinners who sang on, Mighty Love, Games People Play, Could It Be I'm Falling in Love, Sadie, It's a Shame, on and on and on. There are royalty checks for performing on those songs. And now that we finally have another album out, first album after 40 years, I'm looking forward to receiving finally some royalty monies. That's going to be great. So if you're singing on an album, even if you're not the writer, if you didn't produce it or what have you, you may not have publishing or own the masters, which we own ours on this current album. But you get paid for singing on an album. As long as all your paperwork's done properly. I've seen the original Spinners through the years get big fat checks, and now it's time for us to do the same. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
When you're performing now, like you just got off the cruise, are you obviously you have to do the hits, but are you splashing in a little of the new music or?
Yeah, we didn't do any of the new music on the disco cruise, and I really wish we had. I think we should do the new music on every show. This should be a part of the show. This is from our new album, released now. I think that it should be a part of every show, and we're actually changing that now so that we'll be doing the new music in every show. But we have performed the new music in concerts past since the albums have been released, and we're looking at doing that. As standard, so where it's a part of every show.
Are you kind of because there's 5 of you?
Yes.
Does Henry have a bigger say in it as an original member?
Henry's the boss. So
well, I'm asking. So we stick our hands up. We do our little voty thing, and then Henry comes in and says what it's going to be, and it's it's like, oh well, but does Jesse go? I think we should do Down for the Count, and I'm looking for my baby a little,
Right. Let's highlight the Peckster a little more here. You've got to think about what's best for the show and what the fans want to see most. Not so much what I want to do. Me singing songs where I'm doing the lead. Although Purvis Jackson, the original bass singer, would be quite proud to know that there is a Spinner album in existence now where the bass singer is actually getting his due. Back in the early days of the Spinners, Purvis didn't do really any leads. He had a few small parts, 1245, I'm working my way back to you. He's been paying every day. He's got some parts where he stands out here and there, but never has a bass singer in the Spinners or in most groups, gotten so much attention as in the current Spinner album. So I'm very, very happy about that. And I know Purvis Jackson is smiling down from heaven. I'm
Yeah,
sure he's pleased
you
as
got
well.
that nice kind of the Barry White intro. I'm
Right
looking for
on.
my
There you
view.
go.
That's
I
nice.
love it. Love it. Thank you. I love
Yeah.
that comparison. It's great to be compared to Barry. I used to work in radio. I did radio for about 20 years, a little TV as well. But I met Barry at a radio station, an AM station in Detroit, WQBH, Martha Jean the Queen. She was a well-known radio personality of many years. But people were waiting, the staff, they were waiting for Barry White and I to meet each other,
Yeah.
because our Jesse has this deep voice and Barry too. So they're waiting for this vocal clash of the Titans. And I just wanted to meet Barry. So when I finally got to speak to him in this very narrow hallway of the radio station, I said to him, hey, Barry, I love you. I grew up on you. My parents love you. You are awesome. You're an inspiration to me as a bass singer. And everyone's watching us. And Barry opened his mouth. And to save my life to this day, I can't tell you what Barry said to me, but I can tell you that I still know what it felt like, feeling the words vibrate off my chest when he spoke. I just felt like a girl. I did my thing, on the clouds, and this is me. And then he just opened his mind. He just spoke, and it was just a little more than a whisper. And his bottom just had no bottom. Barry White was legendary. So it's awesome to be mentioned in the same sentence as him. So thanks, Pete. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. I've been enjoying the new album. I mean,
oh, good. I'm glad. Do you have a favorite song or two?
I like Down for the Count.
You like Down for the Count?
It's a good intro, but then even like I'm not a musician. The verse or whatever, I don't know, the chorus. Later, deeper in the song, it's good all the way through.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you feel that way. Yeah. Hope the rest of the fans will love it and feel the same and grab their copy as well and just crank it up, play it all day, every day.
Might as well.
Yeah, I dig it.
So what did you do before the Spinners?
Before the Spinners, I worked in, like I said, radio.
Radio, yep.
Did radio and TV for 18 years, mostly radio. And generally at radio stations, I'd be pigeonholed as the pillow talk guy, playing your favorite slow jams. Hi, I'm Jessie Peck. Reach out, let me know what you like, that kind of thing. So I did program a station in Toledo, Ohio. WIMX. I was the program director there for a few years before heading back to Detroit and working at WMXD and WGPR. Those were the last stations where my voice, went out as a personality. So
that's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I enjoyed radio, but it's much nicer. I prefer more being, instead of playing the songs from all these great singers, I enjoy more being the singer and going out and performing, for fans and, getting cheers and signing autographs.
Did your dance skills come up at the audition, or did you bring those out afterwards?
Well, I brought it up at the audition because, right before that, I was working at a factory and looking to get back into broadcasting. So, or anything in show business. So when I've heard about the Spinners audition, when that came through for me, I was up. I get home from the factory probably at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and I was up till 3 or 4, going through YouTube videos, learning the choreography. Of course, I know the lyrics. We grew up on the songs. And I told Henry when I got to the audition, I'm like, hey, I know the steps. I'm ready. You're right. I can do all the steps. He says, well, slow down, grasshopper. You're going to sing first. If you can't sing, it doesn't matter if your Fred Astaire, So we went through all of that. And the fact that I'm a good dancer, I guess that's okay for me to say that. The fact that I'm a good dancer and that I studied, prior to the audition, it made it really easy for Henry to train me, on the show itself. So,
but like, does Morris Day know how to do the bird?
I don't know. Jelly Bean Johnson knows, the drummer for the time. He came to one of our performances at Yoshi's, and I was just so ecstatic that Jelly Bean was there. He came and saw the show, and he saw me do my Morris Day thing, and then the little Prince leg spin that I do, and all that. So he was impressed. I doubt if he went back and said, "Hey Morris, guess what?" But Jelly Bean definitely knows.
I interviewed the keyboardist for Morris Day. He's the keyboardist for him now.
You talking about Monty?
No, Andre Holmes.
Okay, I don't know him. He's not the original keyboard
No,
player.
no, not the original.
Okay,
He's out there. He's touring with them now. He was actually my next door neighbor,
okay.
and he was playing with Macy Gray, and
What
then
happened to Monty?
that's out of my ballpark.
And then after Monty, I think it was St. Paul. I think it was St. Paul who did get the keyboards
I know it's
for the time.
Andre Holmes now.
Andre Holmes. Okay, I have to
Uh,
remember that name. I'll look that guy up. I'm a big Prince fan, so
yeah, I
I
saw
should
Prince at
actually.
Staples Center. It was
What year, roughly?
20 years.
20 years
Had to be
ago.
about 20 years ago.
Do you remember what album that was?
No,
Okay.
it was around 2001, 2002,
Okay.
and
Awesome.
yeah,
Might have been Emancipation, I'm thinking. I don't know, just off the top of my head.
I don't remember, but it was
Okay.
phenomenal.
Great concert, great performer. Do you know, and speaking of the time, did you hear that the Prince estate is now stopping Morris Day and the Time from using the name Morris Day and the Time in their shows? They can't call themselves the Time anymore.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it's just Morris Day.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't know what they have to benefit by stopping them from
Well, that's like a lot of the
using.
old group, not the old groups, but a lot of groups. Dave Wakeling, who's with the English Beat, you know,
Mm,
was the original singer, one of the original founders. But then he has to say it's Dave Wakeling of the English Beat instead of the English Beat, because the English Beat people there's another group of some of the founders that are back in England are still performing. I don't know, it's all that weird stuff,
mm.
and you
Uh,
hear.
That's sad when the groups can't continue to work together,
Yeah,
and then they have to split and they're fighting over the name and the money splits right along with them.
yeah,
It's much more lucrative if they can all stay together, one cohesive group, and everyone will eat well. That's one thing I'm very happy about with the Spinners. There aren't a
yeah,
bunch of spinner groups out there. There's one Spinners,
yeah.
and I'm a member of that group. So, and I
That's
think that's awesome.
as a bass singer, and I have a deep voice.
Mhm.
Not quite as deep as yours. I can slow it.
You're close. You're close.
I can slow it down for you.
There you go.
But like when I hear the Spinner songs, I'm always singing the lead, and I know I can't sing the lead, but that's in my head. In my head, I'm singing the lead. But
Okay.
so as the bass singer, is it hard for you? I mean, you're a professional, and now you've done it for 13 years, but like when you hear certain songs, like it would be hard for me, I think, to only sing the bass parts or the melody parts when you know the words to the. Go ahead.
In all honesty, and Henry Fambro, original spinner,
Yeah.
he always says to me, he says, every bass singer wants to be a lead singer,
Yeah.
and we get our small parts where we go out to the audience and we do our oh baby, and they scream and they fawn and faint over us, and it only makes us want more. And I will admit, I watch our lead vocalists, I watch our lead singers on stage doing their thing, and I'm in the background performing and dancing and singing.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, if that were me, I'd do a kick right there. I'd do the splits right there. I'd get down on one knee. I'd kiss the lady's hand. Oh, yeah. You're thinking of all this phenomenal stuff, like a guy watching a sports game, oh, he should have thrown the ball to me if I'd been there, that kind of thing.
I would have caught it.
Yeah, exactly. I have to admit, yeah, as a bass singer, which means primarily a background singer, I do wish that I was singing more lead.
But do you ever? I mean, like I said, you're a professional.
Yeah.
But like I think I would catch I was driving yesterday. I had like 5 hours of driving from work yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm listening to some of the old Spinner songs, trying to listen to it as the bass person. So I'm trying to hear your parts.
Yeah.
And I kept flowing back into the lead.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very easy to do. Yeah. You're listening for the bass part, but you're being that magnet's pulling you, towards that lead vocal, yeah. But for me, I find myself just as much in any song listening for the bass, listening for the low end
Sure.
and the harmonies. What's the bass doing?
Yeah.
And sometimes, even in today's world where music has changed so much, sometimes on occasion I'll hear some bass stuff that will be really impressive to me. I'm like, wow, check it out. It's really awesome to hear. But yeah, it's what do you do? I'm
It
a
is what it
bass.
is. You
Yeah.
can't change that part.
Yeah, change that part. It is what it is.
Now, the one thing the spinners are known for, obviously, are the suits.
Yes.
Whether they're chartreuse, pink. I mean, some quite loud colors. Like you have the nice white suit background behind you there. But
Yeah.
have you had any mishaps with having matching suits when you're traveling?
We did a show once, and the only mishap we had with our suits was a concert we did, geez, probably about 7, 8 years ago in Canada. We arrived in Canada, but our luggage did not.
Uh,
So we're like, oh, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna go on stage? And I was looking pretty fly.
of course.
I travel ready for the stage. I think, you never know when paparazzi is going to show up, but we had to find out what we're going to do about clothing. And I think we were playing at a casino resort, and they provided us, incredibly, they provided us with black pants, white shirts.
Nice.
I think we wore black vests as well. We basically looked like waiters.
I was gonna say, or dealers.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the Bus Boys performing live.
Hey, that'd be a good group. That'd be a good.
Yeah. Beyond that, no. Oh, there was one. Geez, there was one embarrassing wardrobe malfunction that I had. Big for doing the splits on stage. Known for that. And I had done the splits and one portion of the show, and I lost a lot of weight at that time, so I had to keep my pants up. Didn't have suspenders on that night. And I had done the splits, and my pants weren't where they should have been, and my zipper was busted. It was wide open and torn beyond that. I didn't know it. I had no idea. I didn't notice the cool air coming in. I go on performing, and the people are out of their seats. The women are right up at the front of the stage, and they're trying to tell me, that my zipper is like gone. So you tell someone to zip their pants up. You're telling them. So I'm looking down, and the ladies in front of me, I'm pouring in sweat. It's another great show. And the women are doing this to me, I'm like, yeah, you're awesome too. Thanks a lot, And their camera phones up, like right in my, in that area, my midsection. I'm like, this is pretty freaky ladies we got here on this show. And then eventually someone pointed, and I looked down. It's like, oh my God, I'm just wide open for the world to see. It was crazy. Yeah, that was my one more wardrobe malfunction. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Do you get to? Do you have say in the colors? Is that a team thing, or?
Overall, it's a team thing.
Okay.
I like every spinner uniform that we have. Every outfit that we have, I think it's great. We don't have any outfits that I'd rather we should burn that. Yeah. So it's not a big deal to me. But if we know we're doing something for the Cancer Society,
right,
then we want to wear. I'm going to call, or someone's going to say, hey, we should wear one of our mauve uniforms. And some people say pink. The pink uniform, then we say it's mauve, but we'll wear the mauve uniform if we're doing like the cancer event, if we're doing an outdoor, carnival or what have you, a festival, jazz fest with the sun beating down on us, then one of us will make the call, hey guys, we should wear one of the outfits with the short sleeve suit jackets, blah, blah, but beyond that, it's not a big deal. Our valet knows and is pretty good at rotating the uniforms and bringing out the right outfits, for the right occasion. If it's a major fundraiser with a bunch of big wigs, then we want to bring out our more tuxedo looking, outfits, whether it's all black or all white, So, yeah, I mean, if there's a preference, we'll make a call. We'll talk to each other and say, I think we should wear this, and then we go from there. But that's never been a big issue what we're going to wear when we go on stage.
That's cool though. What surprised you the most about the amount of travel that you do?
What surprised me the most?
Yeah, like before you're doing radio and you got 18 years in radio and you're sitting in that booth going, man, I wish I was on the road, this and that. What has surprised you probably the most now that you've been doing 60 shows a year?
The number of hotels that we could show up in that know we're coming, and for whatever reason, when we get there, the rooms aren't ready. That's just that just baffles the mind for me. I don't know. I don't get that. So
Yeah.
we got to just hang out in the lobby or whatever, or disperse and disappear or whatever until the rooms are ready. I don't know. I guess that's the most surprising thing. There aren't many times where a flight is canceled
Yeah.
or you have to get all, where there's an issue with the flight itself. But yeah, just when the hotels aren't ready, because everything pretty much runs smoothly. Everyone has a job and they make sure that everything's done thusly. The road manager takes care of what's happening on the road. So
Yeah.
we know what hotel we're staying in, we know what airline we're on, the time of the flights. And I don't know who's picking us up when we get there, but when we land, the road manager's on the phone. By the time we get our luggage from baggage claim, limo's waiting outside, and I don't have to know what company is providing transport and all that. Just get in the car and go. So yeah, the only thing that surprises me is getting to the hotel and when it's not ready. That's happened enough times that it's not even a surprise anymore. I guess nothing really surprises me on the road. No.
Just now after 13 years, just another day, right?
Yeah. When you see guys at the airport with the stack of Spinner albums and they want to get them all signed, that's not surprising anymore.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not. I mean, it's like you don't even have an airline ticket. How are you in this portion of the airport? Never mind. Here, where do we sign? Kind of thing. But yeah, not much surprises me. In the beginning, I guess everything did.
Yeah.
But nah.
How is it? How do you stay in shape are there specific things that you want when you're traveling? Whether it's a lot of water or light meals or big meals or.
Well, like the rest of the crew, I love to eat, but
Sure.
when I'm at home, I try to keep or maintain some control over how much I'm eating. I can't pick out on pizza and burgers, night after night. I've got to eat some healthy stuff, and I've got to learn to enjoy that. Oh, couscous! This is good stuff here, But I hope my fiance doesn't see that. She's a couscous fan, but she tries to get me to eat healthy stuff. But I drink lots of water. I do a health product that no one else does called 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide. It's a natural, very inexpensive 1 minute cure, they call it, that just keeps me in great shape, keeps me performing and full of energy on stage and off.
What's it called?
It's called 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide. Okay. It's a very natural and very controversial product. Doctors don't talk about it because, well, it would basically, it takes money away from doctors and from the pharmaceutical industry. But they treat illnesses. They keep going back to get medicines, to treat your illness. And those treatments have side effects where if you take something that cures you, then that's it, you're done. So I don't get to pay for this. Yeah, I'm not paying for my doctor's daughter's college or for my doctor's new boat or anything like that. I'm in pretty good shape, from the get-go. But I end the day with 90 push-ups before I get in bed, 10 outside, 10 diamond inside, 10 outside. And I start the day the same way. When I get out of the bed, 10, 10, and 10, so during the day, if I can do more push-ups or do some chin-ups, then that's a bonus. That all helps. Okay. But you definitely want to stay in the habit of exercise. Like I have a membership at the gym, but to be honest with you, with the pandemic, I haven't been there in a few months now. Though I keep paying, I'm trying to figure that out. Should I cancel that membership? Because
they appreciate it.
Yeah, they really do. I'm sure they don't send me a birthday card or Christmas card, but yeah, I'm sure they appreciate it. But I do just fine at home. You'd be amazed with just simple calisthenics at home, the great shape that you can stay in, and it's important to do so when you've got to go on stage and perform night after night. You want to make sure you're healthy.
Well, that's what I was going to say too, because when I travel, if I can't talk that well, or if it's no big deal.
Yeah.
As long as I can talk loud enough for the buyers to hear what I'm selling.
There you go.
but for you, like your job is literally to be able to sing and perform.
Yeah. at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
You arrive at some place and your show's not until 8 o'clock at night. But in this location, we've got 2 interviews to do, with one with the news station, another one with the local radio station. So we've got to be ready. You got to be in good voice. And with the TV, you never know what you're going to be doing. If we're just standing around huddled together and just speaking, or if we're going to do a dance move or something, or you've got to be ready for anything. And I pride myself on that. I'm always ready for the camera, always ready for the microphone. You will never catch me off guard unless you're walking into my bedroom.
I was going to say. So now, congratulations on the engagement.
Thank you. Did you see that video?
Yes, I did.
Wonderful.
So,
Wonderful.
What do you have a date for the actual wedding?
Do we have a date? No, we don't have we have a year, and that's next year, the 23rd. And for those who haven't seen one, what video is he talking about? You can go to YouTube and pull up, just type in the Spinners proposal or the Spinners on stage proposal, and you'll see me proposing to my fiance, Gina, in front of all the fans. She had no idea. It was quite shocking.
It's pretty cool.
Her. It was a beautiful moment. I almost got a little choked up there myself. But yeah, my daughter's finishing her last year of high school this year, Renaissance High, top high school in Detroit. And then she's going off to college. So we're hoping to get her in the college in the state where Gina and I are going to be living, so I can keep an eye on my daughter. So
where's that?
I want her out of school, off to college, and going to college in the state where I'm living. So Dad's real close.
So you're gonna try and keep her like in Michigan State, or are you moving?
Oh, I'm moving. Gina doesn't like winter. She kind of likes it. She grew up in Houston, Texas. So
big difference.
They have no idea what snow's all about. I was there last year. I was visiting, and she's freaking out, running around the house, saying, "Oh, I'm like, what are you doing?" She's like, "We gotta wrap the pipes." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, what are you
We're gonna get a half-inch of snow. I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm born in Detroit. I've got I've got 2 snow plows in my garage right now, and you give me 12 inches of snow, and to me that's a great morning. I get to plow some snow. That's a lot of fun. Men and their machines. But we don't wrap pipes and all of that in Michigan. It's not a big deal. I'm like, honey, a half-inch of snow is not a big deal. Well, sure enough, they got that half-inch. It was almost a half-inch. Pipes were bursting, water mains, power was going out. People lost their lives. It was very serious. That little bit of snow in a place where they're not used to it, it was incredible. So I say all that to say she's not used to snow. Now, she was here for the major snowfall we had right after Christmas here in Michigan this year. So she built, along with my daughter and I, she built her first snowman.
Oh, nice.
Which she enjoyed. It was a lot of fun for her. She's kind of like it. And I take her downtown to a place called Campus Martius, where there's a big indoor tent with couches and fireplaces and hot cocoa and giant Jenga games, and people have fun sipping cocoa, cider, and all. So she's like, an ice skating right outside. So she's like, okay, maybe I can do this. So she's open to coming to Michigan, but more than likely we're going to be going to Houston, and I'm hoping my daughter will be at Prairie View College. So that's the plan.
Yeah. I always joke. My wife's from Clinton Township, which is just up there, and she went to Fraser High.
Okay.
And she has this great all these great memories of Michigan. And I'm like, she's like, man, maybe someday. And I'm like, never.
No, why do you say never? Is it the snow?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't mind. Yeah. I don't mind visiting.
Yeah.
I don't want to live in it.
It's bad on the people. It's bad on our cars. It's bad on the roads. We are notorious for potholes, during the winter, from the winter to summer months again, the concrete, contracts and expands again. Not to mention they're pouring salt down to keep the roads from being slippery. All that stuff just tears up the roads. So right now our pothole situation is worse than it's ever been. You have cars that'll hit potholes, and it's not just a bump. We're talking flat tire, so dozens of cars every day, off on the side of the road needing new tires. It's horrible. It really is. Then there's rust, and so forth. I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, hold on.
I love Michigan. Lots of great memories. School was great. Lots of great friends here. I have family here as well. But, I want to go where the climate's better. Where
And
nature is more kind to
her
us.
aunt still lives in Warren, and you know,
Nice.
but and I don't mind visiting, but I don't want to live there.
That's funny.
I might,
That's very funny.
we're looking
Oh,
at
I
Nashville.
understand.
We're looking at some other things too, but
Okay.
at least a little bit warmer.
And how long have you been married?
8 years.
8 years.
18 on the first one. 2 daughters.
Okay.
But my daughters they're 26 and 28. My youngest one just got married last year.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah.
Okay. You look a lot younger than a guy who would have a daughter in her 20s.
I'm older than you, my friend.
Are you really?
I really am.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
1967. That's all I got to tell you.
Oh, God. That's all?
I didn't say a lot older, did I?
Okay. All right. Okay.
But I'm older. I looked at. I'm like, you're December 17th, 1968 for you. So
there you go. A man who does his research.
So I'm 6 months older than you.
6 months. So we're the same age, Pete.
Pretty much. But
Yeah.
I get the 55 and over discount quicker than you.
You get really?
Yeah, and in 3 months I'm going to Denny's just for the breakfast, so I can say I get the senior menu.
Wasn't that a load of Kotzbach?
Exactly.
I've been waiting to get that out.
Bro, it's all good. It's all good.
All that just to get a joke back on you.
Well, Jessie with an I, how did Jessie with an I come out?
Well, that was my mom's decision. My mom decided that Jessie would be spelled I-E instead of Jesse. That was what she did.
I was blaming you. I figured you wanted to have a different stage name and wanted to be unique.
I've been trying to come up with something clever to say, like, I put the I in Jessie or something like that. I don't know. It doesn't come together. It hasn't yet, but I'm working on that.
We'll have to come up before the talk show.
Yeah, definitely before the Jessie Peck show. We'll have to work that out.
You could make that happen now. I mean, that's just what I'm doing. I mean, I'm sure you want it to be more professional and everything, but you could start your own talk show now and get.
I know, and lots of people have done so, and most of those shows aren't of the caliber of this show that I'm on right now. So as a matter of fact, and you're saying that because yes, I want desperately to have my own talk show. What do you do, Pete? We're flipping the script now. I'm interviewing you.
Okay.
What is it that you do that makes your show stand out above every other Tom, Dick, and Harry, podcast show or whatever, hey, I've got a show now. What makes yours? I mean, I've seen the quality, and I know the type of folks. I've interviewed lots of stars, so I know what a good interviewer is, and you are definitely that, my friend. But in your mind, what makes your show stand out from every other nickel dime show that's out there?
I don't know that it does, but what I do know is I approach it in the sense that it's not my income producing, right?
Okay.
So I always equate it back to like when you're single, and if you're really trying to meet that girl, you never meet her, and then when you're not looking, they hit you in the face.
There you go.
And that's how I like this. Like I'm listening to the Spinners in my car, and I'm like, man, I'd love to have somebody from the group on the show. So I do my little research. I'm like, boom, Jesse's it, man. I'm like, hopefully he says yes. If he says yes, it's awesome. If he says no, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, the end of the world's the end of the world. This is a great thing. For me, I just talked to my wife about it over the weekend. I don't want to interview people I don't want to interview, just to say because I have the show, I have to interview this person even though I don't want to.
Nice to be able to make that call.
Yeah, and that's
very nice.
I think that's the freedom of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I interviewed Maxi Priest when he was in Jamaica. I've interviewed a Japanese rockabilly singer in Japan.
Oh, wow.
And that's all through the internet. It's like
Japanese rockabilly. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And
I haven't heard rockabilly since the Stray Cats, and to know that they're doing it in Japan today.
I'm gonna send you a video, and it's gonna. So there's an Australian band called 5 Seconds of Summer. Okay. They're a pop band.
Okay.
I'm literally like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm up watching YouTube, just going through different random music channel, videos and all that. And this
Yeah.
video comes on called Youngblood from 5 Seconds of Summer. And I'm like, but it's a Japanese rockabilly actors.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is a cool video. You have an elderly Japanese couple, and they're given these two little pills, and basically it gives them 24 hours to go back into their prime and live 24-hour period together in their prime, and then they die.
Wow.
But they get to die together, and then they get that 24 hours to live in their 20s, like in their young. So the girl that plays the young actress in that video, I look her up online, and I find out she's an actual rockabilly singer, and her dad was a rockabilly singer with the Stray Cats back in the 80s.
Her dad was with the Stray Cats, really?
No, her dad, when the Stray Cats would go to Japan, his band would open for him.
Oh, okay.
So he's been a Japanese rockabilly since the 80s.
Okay.
So now his daughter is a Japanese rockabilly singer, and she got that acting part, and so it just all kind of worked out. And
that's awesome how that ties in together. Okay.
And I get
Please send that to me.
That's probably my third or fourth most popular podcast.
Okay.
And she doesn't speak English. So I needed a translator. So I talked to my daughter, my youngest daughter, and I go, God, I'm kind of bummed. I got this girl, but she doesn't speak English. She only speaks Japanese. And my daughter goes, you should have Rue to talk to her. I'm like, Rue's her high school friend. I'm like, why would I have Rue? Rue is a Japanese translator for Sony Pictures, so that's what he does for a living.
Ah, okay.
And I've known Rue since he was in middle school. I mean, he's one of my daughter's friends. And I'm like, get out of town. So I contact Rue. He goes, yeah, I'd love to do it. So I got Rue to translate the interview for me.
That is cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, right? So
that is cool.
But that's what I like about this show. I won't interview people just because I'm supposed to interview somebody.
Okay.
I mean, there's got to be a reason for it.
That's great. Yeah. And that's definitely one of the plus sides of what you're doing now versus when I was in broadcasting.
Yeah. And you couldn't do that.
We had program directors, and you had a list of songs, you had a playlist that you had to play, and they controlled what group or what entertainer you're going to interview that day if you had an interview, to do. So yeah, the freedom is a wonderful thing, a beautiful thing. Very few radio personalities got to experience that freedom and playing what they want and having whom they wanted on their show. So that's great. Kudos to you for that. That's awesome.
I think that's what the beauty of internet and YouTube and some of the other platforms will give you, even on your talk show. It depends on. I mean, there's a show called The Hot Ones. Mm-hmm. It's an interview show, and he makes you eat hot buffalo wings while you're being interviewed, and they go up in levels of heat from like doable to I can't talk anymore. My eyes are watering. You got you got to see Shaquille O'Neal on that show. He has
okay. You know what? I think I may have seen a clip or two of that.
Yeah.
And you see guys freaking out. They're trying to be cool at first, but
they can't though.
Yeah, they can't take it. They just give me.
But so that was his hook, is a YouTube show. He's been offered that the guy that hosted it, Sean Evans, has been offered to do a cable show with it, and he's turned it down.
Why?
Because he likes the autonomy of being able to do it on YouTube. Because he doesn't have a program director saying, hey, you should really interview XYZ again. Versus, I don't want to interview them again, because their PR people are pushing, and
gotcha.
He
and
has
that's
freedom.
More important. The creative control is more important to him than the money.
And you can make decent money on YouTube and platforms, and with streams and all that. So, I mean, Gordon Ramsay, I think his episode with Gordon Ramsay was like 40 million views. So that's a good number.
That's not how he started, is it?
No, with Gordon Ramsay, no. I mean, he started just like how I started. I mean, you get the people that say yes, and then as you become more popular, and it just kind of works out. And I'm talking to Jessie Peck. Come on.
Wow.
I couldn't have gotten you 4 years ago. You would have been like, pfft.
Yeah, right.
Don't you know I'm Jessie Peck?
Yeah, right. No, I don't think the world's caught on yet to who I am, the whole Jessie Peck thing. I certainly have, and I enjoy it. I enjoy being Jessie Peck. And then one day the world will know, they'll understand, and they'll love that I'm Jessie Peck, and I'll be embraced in this wonderful way that will shoot me up to the top, into the stratosphere.
What do you hope to get out of your talk show?
What do I hope to get out of my talk show?
Yeah.
Lots of fun and lots of money.
Okay.
Lots of fun and money. I want to do interviews that are as fun as when, say, the Dean Martin or Don Rickles would walk in on Johnny Carson, or Letterman. In fact, I've been watching. God, I've been watching those videos for the last several days, and those guys are just really enjoying themselves. And Don Rickles was insane, but
Sharp.
He could walk out in front of a studio audience. He sucked at his own television shows. Every show that he started, it bombed. It got canceled. It didn't survive. But he could walk onto a TV studio, and it's just, the crowd would just erupt. It didn't matter what big name act you had there. It could be Robert De Niro.
Frank Sinatra.
It could be the chairman of the board. It didn't matter. It was all about Don Rickles. He was the man. And, God bless, Johnny Carson for being able to, know how to handle that and how to, guide, these guys while all this madness, chaos is going on during a show. I thought that was great. And I would love to bring that back to Talk TV. I think
Arsenio did a really good job. I mean,
Arsenio, and that's the only example I have in modern times is the Arsenio Hall show. Nothing else compares to comes even close to what I want to do. But I'd like to go back to that. I'd like to bring the fun back, the spontaneity, and I want to be paid thusly. I want to be paid well for entertaining the masses. And we should be.
That's pretty cool.
Definitely.
The goal, I think, my show is to get more exposure to my guests.
Okay.
And where I fight with, it was the Johnny Carson show. It was the late show, but it was the Johnny Carson show. The Conan O'Brien show, the Dave Letterman show.
Conan, yes.
The Charlie Rose show. So when I look at the interviewers, I go, a lot of it's about them, and I that's not I want to come on and promote the Spinners and the Jessie Peck show,
Well, thank you.
So
and we appreciate that, definitely.
Well, it's everybody I've talked to, because they're all about my age, we're freaking out. They're like, "Oh, you're talking to one of the Spinners? Send me that episode. Send me that episode."
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Now I feel like I should do a magic trick or something,
No, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Like a guy named OG Mac Drama, who's the CEO of 1017 Brick House Records. I had on like 2.5, 3 years ago, and he's like, "Hey, I got some other. He has some up and coming artists." And I told him, I said, "Well, I'm interviewing Jessie Peck from the Spinners." He's like, "Oh, send me that episode." Like, all right, but he's our age, so
that's cool. You said OG Mac.
OG Mac Drama.
OG Mac Drama, what's up? Shout out to you, brother, from Jessie Peck.
He will love that.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is cool. Do you have I could even do some drops for you, man, if you want to do some opens and closes and all that,
I was thinking about that, but I was like, man, I don't want people thinking that's me. Gotta be.
Well, no, that's the thing. There's always a distinction between your show and your show announcer. And many times no one even knows what the announcer looks like. Ed McMahon just happened to become, that guy, but the Dave Chappelle show, I don't know who,
Gary Collins. I mean, there are a couple announcers that had that deep. Gary Collins did, it's going to hit me later. The Laugh Show from the 60s. But he became part of the show.
Was it Laugh-In?
The Laugh-In, yeah.
Laugh-In, yeah, that was a great show.
Gary Collins.
That's right. Yeah, he was that typical announcer guy, and now we'll be back with more with a word from our sponsors. Yeah, he was that what's the word? Not typical, but the
stereotypical, maybe.
He was the stereotypical announcer. Yeah, the whole thing.
And he held his hand up.
The whole nine. Yeah. I remember him on those days in Laugh-In. He was great. and very inspirational, as a matter of fact. Yeah, enjoy that guy. I'll get a few reads. I do commercials when I'm not on the road with the Spinners. I do commercials that go to different parts of the world, mostly in the United States. But sometimes they'll ask me to do, a Morgan Freeman style. Sometimes they'll want a Barack Obama. They'll ask my wife Michelle first before. Well, I know what you're gonna think, but sometimes they want me to do that guy from Laugh At. I've gotten a few requests, to come off with that old classic announcer style.
Yeah, straight pitch, yeah.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed that. That's been a lot of fun doing that. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Maybe I'll get you to do Barack. That way, and you can. I have an upcoming potential guest, Tulsi Gabbard, who is a Democratic candidate for president.
Okay.
Has agreed. We've been going back and forth. She's agreed to do the show, but it's just timing,
Yeah.
But I'm just like, the fact that 4 years ago, I'm just a bum, selling stuff. Now I'm talking to Jessie Peck from the Spinners. I'm talking to all these people. It's amazing.
If that makes life, the fact that you're talking to me, if that makes your life, God, go up a few notches, I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't even know what to say to that. Thank you, Father. That's awesome. That's wow. You just made my day with that one statement. I appreciate it.
You remember what I sent you when you said you would do the show? I said, you said you just made my day.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did say that.
Yeah.
That's really incredible. And I guess that's what I love most about this, about what I do. It's that you make people's day. We do concerts, and for just a few hours, we take a room full of people with different backgrounds, different beliefs, different colors, and for a little while, for a little over an hour, they're all just one big happy family. They're all just enjoying the show. They're all laughing. Or if it's a sad song we're doing, you see a few folks with the tear down the eye kind of thing, or they're just dancing in the aisles. They're just having it's really incredible that because of what we do, because of this dream that we get to live, that also with that comes, I guess, the responsibility, I'll call it, of positively impacting, the lives of other people. Whenever I see kids, when I see young people, I always talk to them about school. I talk to them more so than school. I talk to them about having a dream, believing in themselves, and letting them know that it's okay to have that dream. And even if it is different from what everyone else is dreaming about, or if no one else is dreaming at all, it's okay to want to do something with your life. It's all right to have a vision. And no matter what, you should follow that. And it may not be easy. As a matter of fact, I think
it won't be.
I believe the greater the reward, the more you have to endure to get to that. So, and I'm still in the process of that now. I still feel like I'm paying dues and moving towards that great thing. But being a member of the Spinners is no joke. It's a huge responsibility, carrying the torch of the original members. It's a huge pleasure getting a nod of approval from original Spinners like Henry Fambro and Bobby Smith, and Bobby would always say, "Jesse, I'm glad we picked you to replace. You're a classy guy." You like hearing that. I used to hear you when I was a kid on the radio. You were the first concert I ever saw. And now you're telling me on occasion that you're glad that you picked me to be a member.
Pretty crazy, right?
Oh my God. And it's amazing. Parents say, "Will you talk to my kid? Will you tell him, because he won't listen to me, and because they just saw me on stage or what have you, my word carries a little more weight at that time for them." So
sure does.
Again, responsibility, and you got to be careful what you say, but also what you do, because people are watching you too. So
see, for me, it's interesting. It's weird to think, like this episode is going to be viewed hundreds, if not thousands of times.
I hope so.
And it will be, but it's interesting that, and that's why I was telling my wife, I'm like, it's going to be out there forever.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's like,
wow.
So in 3 years, a kid that has a real deep voice is going to hear of you, and then he's going to do a Google search, and then he's going to come up on my feed, and he's going to hear our interview, and then maybe it'll inspire him to do voiceover, to do different things because you told him your story.
That's incredible to me. Yeah, and I don't want them to turn it on, pull up the video, and I'm saying it sucks, give it up, it's hopeless.
You were wrong.
Right. Yeah. Show business is just that. I love a business. I was thinking earlier, talking with one of the other spinners, Marvin Taylor, and I mentioned to him, because he brought up how much he loves what he does. We love what we do.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, Marvin, I said, I wish that all the way around that it would love us back, and I'm not referring to the fans,
No, I know.
the stage and all that. Those folk, they love us, and they keep us going, and they're the reason why it's so easy to stay encouraged with what we do. But like anything else, there is a downside. You have to stay on top of the business in this show business. Otherwise, you're going to end up, a very unhappy person. So you got to make sure you take care of business, know the industry, watch the things that are changing, and try to stay on the edge, of what's new and what's happening. And same with voiceover work. I'm constantly upgrading my equipment to make sure I have the best sound possible. There is a certain amount of time every day I have to dedicate to marketing myself, doing auditions, and keeping my voice out there and staying relevant, and even continuing to work on other voices, different voice impressions, vocal tones, vocal exercises. So there's a lot of work and preparation that we do as spinners, from getting ready at home, heading to the airport, the flight, the hotel the day before, and all that, sound check and the whole nine. All of this is involved, even before that, with the promoters and the planning and the booking and send deposits and all that. All of that for us to go on stage for this small amount of time, for this little bit amount of time. There's a whole lot of work. There's a world of work that goes into every show, and you have to be aware of that. You don't just get up, put on your clothes, and go walk on stage. There's a lot of prep. There's a lot of work you have to put in, studying, research, exercise. There's a lot.
Blowing out suits. You got a whole lot of.
Blowing out suits. All that good stuff. There's a lot to this, but. Like Marvin Taylor and like the rest of the spinners, like Ronnie, like CJ, like Charlton, like Henry, I love it. I really do. And there's nothing I wouldn't give. I don't mind practicing at home, going over the shows. I don't mind sitting back after shows and watching YouTube videos of us performing and saying, I'm not going to do that again. Just, I don't know.
So you do a lot. See, I don't do that with my show. I try not to. Yeah. Well, okay. I did for a while. And then I just found myself being like super critical.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. That would definitely slow me down in voice work. I cut a spot, get your tickets now. Denise Williams, performing live, another brass ring production. I play it back, and I'm like, oh, that's like, someone else is like, oh man, that sounded great. I'm hearing, I'm like, oh, that's horrible. And then you're doing it over and over again. You do like 10 takes and you're wearing yourself out, when the first take was really pretty doggone good. You really nailed it. You've got to know when you're beating yourself up, as opposed to making it the best it can possibly be. Now with the live performance, with the spinners performance, there's just one shot at that. I've already done the show, so I can sit back now and look at the video and plan for the next show. Yeah, sure. If I made you want to make sure you're always smiling on stage, oh God, I made a goof. Oh, don't make that face again, or don't do this, don't do that. Or I may have tried a new move out that I thought was just so hot, and then I see it, I'm like, oh, okay.
That's why they all gave me that look.
Right. No one would say anything. No one told me, but okay. Yeah. So it's important to critique yourself. It's important to be able to take constructive criticism from other sources.
Well, that's why I got married.
There you go. Constant daily critiquing there,
At least for the show.
Dig it. Gina, I hope you're not watching this.
She will be.
But yeah, she will be. I love your critiques, darling, and I know that you only want what's best for me. So thank you very, very much. Please, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know what I can do better. So continue to lay it on.
So when's the wedding?
Definitely 23rd. And it's gonna be
That's
a
awesome.
probably a cruise wedding, either on
Oh,
a cruise
nice.
ship or on an island or something like that.
Yeah.
We figure we'll do that instead of a big wedding in a local area. Her family's in Houston. My people are in Michigan,
Yeah.
well, in New York also. But so it's kind of, instead of worrying about how to get everyone together, we'll just do the wedding of our choosing.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a big, reception party afterwards. We could do one in Houston. We could do one in Michigan.
Or
That's
one both places. Yeah.
yeah. Do one. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, we could do
Yeah.
one in both places. So I think that's the route that we're taking.
That's a smart route.
I think so too.
But it ain't your first rodeo, so it's okay.
No, it ain't, my brother.
Yeah.
But this is the last corral.
That's what I told I'm like, this is it. I said,
This is it for me. And I got the perfect woman this time. This woman is my soulmate. And that's another great key, great factor in your success, is having the right partner.
Absolutely.
My fiance also happens to be my best friend, and I can't say I've ever had that in a woman. Well,
Yeah.
besides being kids and all that, Barbara,
Yeah.
when I was a little kid and all. But I mean, as far as a man and a woman together, if the woman that you're sharing your life with is your best friend, and if that woman is wise, as well as she is beautiful, and then you're in good shape. If
Yeah.
she's wise and she genuinely cares about you, then she's only going to say things that are going to help you. And you're a wise man if you listen to wise counsel. Definitely.
Well, after you get married, it's not wise. It's mandatory.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a difference.
Well, I want to continue to believe that I have a choice.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that, buddy.
Yeah, I do. That's funny. We're in restaurants and the waiter comes over and says, "And what would you like, sir?" And I said, "I don't know. She hasn't told me yet."
Exactly.
You should eat this, and then you can have some of that.
What am I allowed to eat today, honey?
Right. Oh, we can share a plate of this. Oh, yeah. Okay. Great. All right. Yep. What she said. Thanks.
How important?
Shot of tequila with that, please.
I was going to ask you, because she signed up meeting you and dating you and agreeing to marry you while you're a spinner and you're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of knows what she's getting into, right?
Yeah. Not only does she know what she's getting into, but she handles it very, very well. She's a very secure woman. No jealousy or anything like that in her at all. She's extremely supportive.
Yeah.
And understanding. Now she ain't gonna put up with no nonsense. No garbage, no baloney.
I get that too.
Right. She's no fool, but she also understands what I do, and she's very proud and very supportive of what I do professionally, and I appreciate that.
Are you going to be able to? Does she go on the road with you on some of the trips?
I like Gina to come on the road with me every time it's something wonderful or beautiful, where we'll be there for more than just a couple of days.
Yeah.
Like we just did the disco cruise.
Yeah.
And that was her first cruise, actually. So I took her along, and she enjoyed that. We're performing in Hawaii in about a month. We'll be out in Hawaii for about a week, performing on 2 different islands. So she's got to come with me.
What's the date on those?
The Hawaii date. I'll pull that up.
I'll look that up because I'm going to be in Hawaii too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That would be awesome if you can come out and join us for the show.
I'll fill in for you.
If you're going to be out there, if you're going to be out in Hawaii at the same time we're there,
that'd be crazy.
Yes, list.
Yeah, because that's part of my territory.
Okay.
So I have to go for work.
We're doing Hawaii. Let's see. We'll be in Honolulu on April 21st, 22nd, 23rd of April. And then April 24th, we'll be in Kamuela, Hawaii, the big island.
The big island, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
it's going to be close because we were going to go end of April. And it's amazing. I was going to say, it's amazing how my wife's always available to go when my Hawaii trips come up. I go, babe, I haven't picked the date yet. She goes, I know, but I'm available.
That sounds like Gina. Yeah. She'll know the date before I even decide what the date's going to be.
Well, I get here's the dates that work best for me.
Right.
It doesn't work that way,
can you switch it around, or Yeah. And then after that, we're doing the when we leave Hawaii, we're going to Vegas. We're doing the Cannery. We perform there every year.
Nice.
I like doing shows there. Vegas is a lot of fun.
I'm definitely gonna hit you guys up when because you had some, I think you had some California dates coming up.
Yeah, we got
later in the year.
California dates. Of course, Yoshi's. We do Yoshi's every year. Usually, we do Yoshi's for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We're there for a week, surrounding, the Thanksgiving holiday. But this time we're going to be there in August 26th, 27th, and 28th. And we're doing, it's 2 to 3 shows. I can't remember if it's just 2 shows or if it's 3 per day. One of those days we may be doing 3 performances.
Okay.
Definitely a minimum of two shows per day at Yoshi's, and that always sells out. It's a lot of fun. Love doing Yoshi's.
How big of a boom have the Indian casinos been for you guys?
Huge.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's been huge. The majority of the casinos that we do are on reserves.
Yeah.
It's huge. Immokalee Casino. I'm trying to remember where Immokalee is, but we do Immokalee quite a bit. I love the casino scene. They do their part to keep us working.
Yeah,
love the casinos.
I have there's a tribe in Palm Springs area. They own the Spotlight 29 casino, and then they just opened up a new one. And I'm going to interview the chief of the tribe.
Oh, nice.
And that's what we were kind of doing a little pre-show thing, and he was talking about, they're bringing in all these groups, that you're not going to be at Staples Center as the Spinners, but it's pretty cool to be able to see these bands that you want to see.
Yeah, and it's cool for us to be able to get out. So
yeah, it gives you guys another opportunity, and there's so many now.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Yeah, there are quite a few. I often thought about, some groups, some entertainers, they will actually stay. I think you see that happens a lot in Vegas.
Yeah,
where performers will just stay, at the casino resort, and they perform, I don't know, 3-4 nights a week, and they live there on the property, and they'll stay a month or 2 or even a year. They're big name acts who have done that and who are doing it now. I would love for something like that to happen for us.
Yeah, they have the residencies that do really well.
Yeah, I love a residency gig. That would be.
Because that's what I was talking to with Steve Stevens, the guitarist from Billy Idol. They set up the Hard Rock, or I think it was at the Palms. They had a residency at the Palms.
Okay.
And Steve lives there now, so.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. That's awesome.
But that's awesome. Vegas used to be the place, they had the Rat Pack, and then it kind of became the place where acts went to die, and now it's come back and gone full circle.
Yeah, I missed the phase where they said acts go there to die, like old ships or what have you. But yeah, I do remember I was there. I do remember the heyday of Vegas, the early days of Vegas. In fact, Henry Fambro, original spinner, and Bobby Smith, original spinner, they would tell us a lot of stories about Vegas and when it was first starting. Back when it was just sand and some guy's crazy notion, that people would come there and spend gobs of money. They said, "Well, it was nothing like it is today." And there are lots of stories that I can't share. Some of them I have to take to the grave, but yeah, they were there for a lot of that. And, kudos to them, God bless them that they were a part of that history.
What on your talk show, I'm curious, who would be your ultimate get? Like, who is the one where you go, man, who would you want to interview the most?
On my show?
Yeah.
I never thought about an ultimate guest on the show. Well, I can't. Well, there was one.
Obviously, they have to be alive. It's not Prince. It can't be,
Yeah, it can't be Prince. He would have been the ultimate guest. But beyond that, when I practice my monologue, after I come out and the band's played, and the Jessie Peck show, and I talk and I'm topical. And did you see in the news last week? After all that, then I always say, we've got a great show coming out tonight. We've got coming back on the show again tonight. You saw him last week, my good friend Denzel Washington. They start clapping. Yeah, all right. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, he'll be here to join us. I just throw in some names, Wes Knights will be joining me as well.
Lawrence Fishburne and everybody.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne. Bill Burr will be stopping by with a few tips on us, some health tips. So that should be interesting. We'll be back with that and more. Stay back, story, or stay there. We'll be back with more right after this. Camera pans out, the band's playing, all that. I throw names of big people in there.
But that's what I'm saying. So, if you had, would Denzel be your big get?
Denzel will be anybody's big get. Yeah, Denzel, De Niro, anybody that you and I could collectively agree on would be a big get. Definitely.
See, for me,
Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall himself. Imagine being a major talk show host and having one of the guys that inspired you, having Arsenio Hall on my show. That would be the get.
All right. Well,
that would be the get.
You can make that happen.
Yeah. Okay. I accept that.
You can make that happen. See, for me, I'd like to talk to Smokey.
Smokey, okay.
And that's or Paul McCartney.
Okay.
Just I guess to talk about, for Smokey, be like, what was it like in the early days when you weren't allowed to play in certain cities? And I mean, I don't even know if that a lot of current people cannot even
relate to that or even appreciate it. Yeah, you're right.
Where you sit there and you go,
absolutely right.
So just like a lot of the current hip hop and R&B guys that can go to the South, like it's no big deal now, versus back then when they weren't allowed.
And the Spinners can tell you stories of where they had to enter through the back, of the venue. You weren't going in through the front door. Being a black act, and after the show's over, you're off the stage and you're back out. Through that,
you weren't allowed to stay there. Yeah.
Heck no, that was out of the question then. Yeah,
crazy.
And shout out to the Rat Pack guys for not putting up with that with Sammy Davis Jr. Yeah. They if you weren't accepting Sammy, then you weren't accepting us either. And I thought that was very cool that they did that, and that helped to begin to affect some change in the industry. Did you see us on the Mike Huckabee show?
I did.
That was an incredible moment, being on his set with the not boom mics, but just the boom cameras and all the lights.
A real stage, yeah.
Oh my God, it blew my mind. I had to do a couple of Facebook Lives.
Burgundy crushed velvet suits you had going on?
Nice. And we sat and talked with Mike on that show, and just it felt so very natural.
He played bass with you too. I didn't know he played bass.
Yeah, he played behind us while we performed on his show. And he's a very nice and humble and down to earth guy. You would not expect that.
I've been blown away by the amount of people that are overly friendly and nice. I mean, even like the super famous people on my show.
Yeah.
And that's why they would do a show like mine, because they're that way to begin with.
Yeah. That blows my mind too. I've met a lot of entertainers on the road who are not nice.
Yeah.
Who don't like signing autographs or taking pictures, and I mean, that's with me, not to mention the fans. That's true. But I've met a lot of entertainers who don't like anything other than being on the stage, if they like that. But thank God the majority of the performers that I've met, and the number one guy being Little Anthony, Little Anthony is a giant as far as humans go. He's always been extremely nice and kind to me personally, and lots of other groups have as well. I just think that's incredible. And I don't know, if you're not into people, I don't think you should be in show business. And when we perform, I love interacting with the fans, and it's funny, like when we do the disco cruise, and I walk out onto the Lido deck and everyone's out there in the pool and all that, and of course they see you and a few points. And she was saying they want to ask for a picture, but they think you're going to shun them, or no one wants to be embarrassed, or he's probably tired, from doing the same thing we've been freaking doing. Don't bother him, And and a lot of times I'll initiate. I'll go over to a table. Hey, how you doing? What's up? Hey, is that my seat right there? I'll sit down, laugh, and joke with them. take a pic and someone else is staring at us. You want to pick too? Should we do a pic? And the men won't ask. The woman will get the pic, the guy will take it, and then that's that. You know, I don't play that. After she gets her pic, I give the brother some love. Okay, I'd like, can we get a pic now? Take a picture of us. And the guy's like, yeah, because the men don't want to ask. Most of them don't. But they want to. They want to something. They want to remember the moment as well. You know, so I always make sure I give equal love to the guys as well as the girls, with attention and all that kind of stuff. And they see that, and they know that it's genuine. And they appreciate it. I wonder if, and the answer is probably no. I wonder if that waters down your celebrity status when you're so open to.
I don't
to
think
fans.
so.
I mean,
as long as
maybe
it's
I should
genuine.
keep my dark shades on and some bodyguards around me, and you can't. What do you want with Jessie Peck? You know that kind
Don't
of.
You know who I am? I'm Jessie with an I.
That type of thing. Well, I don't know. I don't get that. If I can talk with them, if I can interact, they're excited to see me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see them. They're going to say some pretty wonderful things to me that are going to make my day. And hopefully, you know, God willing, I'm going to say some things that are going to empower them and make their day as well. So it's a fair exchange. It's a beautiful exchange. And it's one that I like taking part in. So I don't know.
It's funny. I had this conversation with my niece yesterday because she was asking me about some of the celebrities I've interviewed and all that. And I go, you got to remember, even celebrities have bad days.
I mean, we do.
You get broken up, you get in fights with your significant others, you get bad news from back home, whatever.
Yeah.
And so when you're on stage, you're allowed to switch that and turn it off. Mm-hmm. But, as soon as you get done, you're still thinking, oh, shit, I got to get my car fixed. I got the dentist just cancel my appointment. Now I got to reschedule that, blah, blah, Yeah, and so that's why I always, because I live in Los Angeles, so I see celebrities around. I never bother them. I'll point. I'll
bother them.
No.
That's the word, bother. Wow. Well, I mean,
that's just I don't know.
If an entire city's coming at you, I guess it would become impossible to get an oil change. You know, I haven't, or I've yet to experience that level of celebrity.
I don't think So my daughter, when she was in college, was a personal assistant intern for Jared Leto. And then, with Kim Kardashian. Mm-hmm. And then when she graduated college, she got a job working for Chloe full time.
Okay.
And so she saw all of it up front and personal.
Oh, okay.
She saw paparazzi follow her leaving the house because they thought it might have been one of the Kardashians.
Knowing it would lead to him, yeah. Or maybe they thought it was some kind of scandal.
Yeah, well. So they don't fill up their own gas. So my daughter would fill up Chloe's car. Well, they know what cars they have, the paparazzi's leaving the gated area. So they would follow her into the gas station and take her picture while she's pumping gas. And they're, oh, sorry. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, that's not happening to me. I don't have paparazzi following me, taking pictures and all that. And I don't know. I'm not sure I would mind. I just haven't gotten to the point where it's a problem, where it's bothering me. Here at home, when I'm off the road, I'm a regular guy. I wait in line like everybody else, and so on the road, when people recognize you and they want to tell you how much they love the music, they love your last performance, and all that stuff just makes me feel good. It makes me feel special. It makes me feel like a star, if you will, like a celebrity. So I enjoy it.
Well, I enjoy it. You're in the Spinners.
Yeah.
That's enough said.
Yeah. And the Spinners is an iconic and legendary, vocal group. Their musical history. Jessie Peck is a part of, a member of the Spinners. So so I don't know. A few more. I haven't been enough album covers where I can be at home and someone sees me. Sees me. That's him. It happens a little bit here, but not too much. We don't even do many shows here at home in Michigan, where the Spinners mostly reside. Most of the gigs we do. I mean, we can do California 4 or 5 times a year. Same with Florida, the New York area, Boston, several times a year. We're in those places, and we're hoping to get one gig here at home, every year. Usually it's about every other year we'll perform a concert that's at home.
What's the amphitheater? It's up uh, near you. It's north of you. It's up near 18 Mile. It's a bigger amphitheater. It's where she saw Duran Duran. My wife saw Duran Duran there, and
Are you referring to what used to be called Pine Knob?
Pine Knob. That's it. Is it
Okay.
gone?
No, it's not gone. I think that's the theater that's changed to the Aretha Franklin uh,
Oh,
theater now. So, yeah, I think that's the one that's been changed to
okay.
carry the name of Miss Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's still there, and we performed there a time or two with the Temptations and the Four Tops. So yeah, lots of fun, lots of memories there as well.
That's
Love
cool.
when we do the home
What
shows.
places have you not performed that you'd like to?
I haven't done Africa yet as a spinner.
Okay.
The spinners have been to Africa quite a few times. I have not been there yet. I haven't done Africa. I would love to go to UK. I would love to go to Japan. I would love to go to those places outside of the country
Yeah.
and perform. Pretty much everywhere in the United States,
You've hit.
I've been a spinner for 13 years. This November will be 14 years. And I've covered quite a bit of land,
Yeah.
in that short amount of time. But yeah, there's still a few places that we haven't been to with me in the group, and I
Sure.
would love to go, love to experience.
Well, how do we make that happen?
Well, you become a promoter in Africa, and you decide you want the spinners, and you call us,
Oh,
and we come.
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm trying to think. I'm busy, so I can't do that. I can't move to
I like
Africa
that.
and become a
I'm
promoter.
busy. Dig it.
No, I always think of different. I kind of believe in manifestation. Like if you say it, you can make it happen.
Okay. So you believe in the power of the spoken word.
Absolutely.
You believe in the law of attraction.
Sure.
Okay. You say sure.
Dude, I'm talking to Jessie Peck with an I of the spinners right now.
That is so cool. Right on.
You're speaking into existence. That's how it works.
That's right. We speak things into existence. All right. So I'm going to have my own not just national but worldwide television show. It's going to start off national. It's going to be a worldwide thing. I am going to, as far as my voice work, be the highest paid voice actor in the history of voice work. I will do work for Disney Pixar films, whether I'm playing a crocodile in an animated movie or what have you. All those things are going to happen. I will continue to speak those things into existence.
Do you think when you went on Mike Huckabee's show, that's a full production talk show? Do you look at it differently? Like, in the sense of, hey, I wish I had these booms, and let me look at the camera, and let me how they.
No, I was on the Huckabee show. I said, this is how it's gonna be. I'm gonna have this, gonna have that. What's that guy in the air for? I don't know. I want one of those, the Mike Huckabee show was the greatest thing I've ever seen as far as talk shows go. And again, the last talk show that the Spinners were on that I saw was the Arsenio Hall show. And this was back in I want to say the late 80s. Yeah, that was in the late 80s. I was working in radio. My roommate, Terry Chisholm, and I were watching the Arsenio Hall show, and he did the Spinners with the entire show, not the Spinners and this person, and it was just the Spinners. That was awesome seeing that. But being on a TV set, besides the news, I've sat in on the news shows and things like that. But this was a show, a studio dedicated to one talk show. Seeing that, being on the Mike Huckabee show, it was just so mind blowing. I was, as they say, a kid in the candy store. Type of thing. My mind was completely blown to see that and be a part of that. So I know even now, and I pretty much had the vision down pat in my head. There are only a few things, I guess, that may have been added after being on the Huckabee show. But no, it hasn't changed how I see it. It's only fueled my passion to do it.
Sure.
All the more. So.
Well, it's nice. Like I know Joe Rogan just moved to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And going from LA where everybody's there, so it was easy for people to go in because they're going to be in LA for this or that or promotion or premiere versus Austin. But I mean, he's making it work. So, You can be in the Houston area, and make it happen.
Yeah, yeah. Nowadays you can be anywhere
Yeah,
and make it happen. So in fact, if you're in a place where it's not expected or least likely, that becomes a story and part of the miracle that it happened, from this of all places. So yeah, it could happen from anywhere. So I look forward to doing it. I look forward to seeing it,
sure.
feeling it, living it, being a part of it. And I know it's that close to happening, and my billionaire status that will come along with it. They're watching. They're like, this guy's saying some really big stuff here. I hope he does all right. You'll see people. You'll see.
Well, that's the whole point. We're all going to see. I,
Yeah,
I think
I'm a dreamer.
the late night talk show host could use a new look. I mean, it's they're all comedians or ex-comedians, I call them.
Hmm.
They stop being funny when they get the show because they have to pander to the program directors and what's, you know, I
Hmm.
don't, I think so that'd be a good time for you to get in there.
That's interesting because I've done everything. I've done everything I wanted to do as an entertainer except stand-up comedy. I have a lot of respect for stand-up
Yeah, I can't.
comedians. Now, on the bus with the spinners or at an after party with fans who kind of like me
Yeah,
anyway, it's easy to get off jokes and people are going to laugh at what you say, But for a comic to be able to go on stage and do their routine, whether it's 5 minutes or a full hour special or what have you, that's that's
it's a skill.
that's tough. Now I've emceed comedy shows. When I lived in Flint, Michigan, I emceed a comedy club every weekend, but that did not make me a comedian.
Yeah, that's
you,
right.
you know. So yeah, I think that might give me an edge because on stage with the Spinners, I'm funny, and I think that doing a television show, having the studio audience there, and not having the comedic experience, I think that would be a plus for me. I'll just be naturally funny. When I see a crowd out on stage and we're backstage, where other folks get nervous, to me, they're just a bunch of people in my living room. They're a bunch of friends in the
I
living
got you.
room, and they're waiting to have a good time. They're here to have fun. Like they're having a little fun, but I'm gonna go out and live. I'm gonna go in the living room and turn things up. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
crank it up, and that's what we do. That's what I do. That's what's in my mind. So that's how I look at it. So it's fun. I just want to go out there and have fun with the people, and that's the difference. I'm not looking at doing a routine or anything. I mean, I'm sure I'll have the teleprompter. I have some lines and things that I have to say, but I'm looking forward to the freedom of stepping outside of that and being able. If something funny happens, I'm gonna freaking say it.
Yeah.
Say it. Everybody's thinking it, so you might as well just go ahead and just address the pink elephant in the room, and let's have some fun with it. So yeah, that's me.
So when are we gonna make this happen, Jesse?
You know what? I'm gonna be, since you're Mr. Smarty Pants, Pete, I'm gonna be bugging you probably for the next couple of weeks or months or what have you, and just picking your brain. Because as you see, I got the green screen behind me already,
Yeah.
and it's great for these types of interviews or when I'm hosting events. I can change, the background to make it match whatever,
Yeah.
whatever I'm hosting. But I like to get the cameras in. I like to start shooting and doing some things and putting it on. And I think that you're the guy. I
Oh
think you're
no.
the guy that will point me in the right direction, probably help me out, make some good suggestions to me along the way. You'll be my go-to. So I'm gonna start moving on this now. There's no time like the present, and tomorrow's not promised. So
Yeah, I tell you, my first interview was with a guy named Hunter Cure, who is
uh,
a friend of mine.
yeah.
He's two-time world champ cowboy guy, and
Okay.
and so we sponsored him, and he agreed to do the show. And then my second interview was Cowboy Troy, who we sponsored, and I've known for 10 years.
Hmm.
Uh, and I asked them because they've been interviewed and all that. So, but it was just like I didn't know what I was doing. That's why I literally have not listened back to my first episode. I just don't. I don't want to hear it.
You should do. Now, how long
I
has
don't
it
want to
been?
do it.
How long has it been since then?
4 years.
You should do that. You
No.
should go back.
No.
I know, and I understand, but you should go back and look at that first tape and see just how far you've come in 4 years.
Well, I noticed I used to stutter more, and I did a lot more ums,
Okay.
which when you're going back and editing audio only, you don't want to listen to an hour playback and keep deleting all these ums. So I don't.
Yeah,
Well,
that was a crutch for me as well. I
mm,
would do that a lot. While I'm talking to you, Pete, I would come up with things to say and until I could think of the word. And
yep.
it's when you look back at that, it's like, oh my goodness, do I know any words at all besides but
Yeah.
yeah, you think about that, and I learned to, instead of doing there's nothing wrong with a dramatic pause. There's
Sure.
nothing wrong with dragging out that last word. If you're waiting to, instead of saying there's nothing wrong with just say there's nothing wrong with thinking things through first before
Sure.
you continue to speak. So yeah, that was a crush of mine too. So I can relate.
Well, and with your voiceover, you have a great voice, obviously,
Thank you, God.
right? But you've worked on it. I mean,
Yes.
how much practice? And like you said, like I remember I saw an interview where you said you were doing voiceovers and you were praying and hoping something to happen. This is pre spinners,
Hmm.
you know, but you were practicing your voiceovers at home, right?
Oh yeah, definitely,
I mean,
definitely.
that's
Well,
welcome. Yeah,
and I can't say that it's a time that I set aside to do that. It was just a part of my everyday life. Whenever I'm speaking, I'm thinking of how I'm speaking. I'm thinking of my tone. I'm thinking of, the delivery and my choice of words, gauging how people receive what I'm saying, as opposed to if I had said it this way. And I'm
yeah.
always doing that. I always find myself saying after the fact, well, I used to always find myself saying, I wish I had said this, or I wish I had said that. You thought it, and then you let it go by. And next thing you know, someone else says it, and they get the laughs or the accolades or
We
the
we we,
raise or
we call
whatever it
that
is.
DMI,
DMI.
delayed mail intelligence.
Boom. There you
Yeah.
go. I no longer. Hi, I'm Jessie Peck, and many American men suffer from DMI, delayed male intelligence. Don't let this happen to you. If you have a thought, release it. Speak it immediately out into the atmosphere.
Take this
You'll
pill.
find you're not the only one who's thinking it. This message brought to you by the Peck Foundation, along with Pete Kotzbach. Let me wait.
Oh, brother.
Pete
Just
Kotzbach.
say Pete.
I'll just say, I'm going to get that down. I'm going to conquer that.
Pete
I'm not
K.
allowed to have names and words that I can't pronounce. So Pete Kotzbach. There you go. Kotzbach. Is that
There you
right?
go.
Kotzbach. Yeah. I've got to conquer all of that. I can't have that happen.
That's what I with that girl I was telling you about, Lulu. I got to get her last name down. It's a
Good
tough
luck
one.
with that. This way. We've been on for an hour and 40 minutes.
My bad.
No, it's not bad. It's good. I just happened to notice it. I just happened to look. I said, I was thinking, I bet we've been on for about 40 minutes now. And I looked, and it was an hour and a half. That was, a while ago.
Sorry.
Well, that just means things are going well, or you haven't found a way to get me off your show yet.
I'm a yapper.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm a yapper too.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
and this is the result, 2-hour interviews.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry to you, man. You've got a wife already. My fiance's in Houston, so
my wife's at work. That was who left.
No, as a matter of fact, we were just right before we started. I was on the phone, like, "Hey, honey, you're on your way home, honey? Okay, yep, okay. As soon as all right, love you, dear." That was almost 2 hours ago, so it's all good.
Let me ask you a few questions, then I'll wrap this up and get you back to whatever you're doing.
An hour and 40 minutes in, you want to ask me a few questions?
Yes, sir.
All right, go for it.
How do you fill up your downtime when you're traveling? Is it reading books? Is it listening to music? Is it watching movies? Is it sleeping? Is it whatever?
Honestly and shamefully, there's a certain amount of time spent in front of the TV.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, I just said. I don't do regular television anymore because it's programming, and that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
We'll do that later, but the
I'm
Netflix
same
and
way.
all that. Yeah, the Netflix and all that. I try to, if I'm going to be in front of the TV, I try to look more at things that are going to empower me. Information on stock tips, penny stocks, Bitcoin. These are all investments that I do. Beyond that, during my downtime, away from the TV, I'm working on me. I'm practicing. I'm working on the business. I'm working on my website, jessiepeck.com.
Yes,
I've
sir.
got a slew of products on the jessiepeck.com site that Gina and I came up with.
I want to get the
Coffee
shirt.
mugs. Oh yeah, the shirt.
The
Gina
shirt
designed
with
the
the
shirt.
Jessie Peck going up and
Yeah,
down.
she designed pretty much all the shirts. My design ideas, she looked at them. She's like, get out of here. She balled it up and threw it away. And then she went to work and she came up with some really great stuff, some great ideas, coffee mugs, women's clothing and babies clothing and the whole nine. And I love her for that. So I focus on the website. I focus on, my social media, not in a way, where they say we shouldn't be on Facebook and all that all the time. I'm
Right.
trying to do promotions. I'm trying to keep our fans happy and talk with them. Maybe I can do a live or two, which I'm overdue for a live with our diehard Spinner fans on our page, Mighty Love for the Spinner fans. So I've got to get on that page and do some things. During downtime, I look at ways to improve myself, ways of getting better.
So I'm in the same boat. It's so weird because that's exactly what I do. We got rid of cable TV.
Hmm.
I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, I do a lot of YouTubing. Yeah.
Because I can sit there and go, how do I make videos? How do I edit audio? I literally learned how to podcast by YouTube.
Wow. Yeah. So right now I'm currently working on Canva. Gina turned me on to Canva. So I downloaded Canva. So in my downtime, I'm looking at Canva. I'm learning how to create these graphics. All I want to know how to do really is take my videos that I do on the road, edit them, make them real sweet, do nice open and closes, drop them in on YouTube, send the YouTube videos to Facebook and Instagram. I have the hardest time with posting videos. I just don't get it. I don't know how these people are posting videos, but whatever. Anyway, Canva is what I'm working on right now. So I'm learning how to use those skills. I'm learning the fundamental stuff that I don't really give a crap about. But as I'm learning, then I'm finding out how useful it is. And eventually I'll get to the portion I want, which is the video. So I can make better YouTube videos. So I can start growing that channel, which for anyone watching on YouTube, it's Jessie Peck. The website,
with an
jessiepeck.com.
Facebook, Jessie with an I.
Yeah, it was Jessie Peck with an I. Thank you very much, Pete Kotzbach. I appreciate that. And just working on improve the same stuff you do is what I do. So, God, we're birds of a feather, bro. I like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's like I have my daytime job, and I've had a lot of people say, "Well, does the podcast conflict?" And I go, "Well, last year was the best year I ever had in sales ever, and 2022 is already exceeding that." So. My bosses are still happy,
That's good.
They're not giving me, like, if my sales were going down, they'd be like, hey, a little less time on the podcast there, bro.
Right. Yeah. But how wonderful would it be if when the podcast grows and becomes so big that it just takes over everything and you don't need to do anything else? That would be truly wonderful.
My wife says that'll never happen. Literally. She's like, that's never going to happen. But, it's like if you would have gone back 15 years ago and said, I'm going to be the bass singer of the Spinners traveling the world, you'd be like, yeah, okay, sure.
Oh, I get so many laughs. Here he comes again. Here comes the Spinner guy. Hey, Spinner wannabe. Did they call you yet? Kind of thing.
Yeah, but here you are.
Yeah, here I am. Here we are.
Yeah.
This is all. Here I am sitting with a man who's telling me that it's made his day, or it makes a big difference to him that he's interviewing me on his show.
Yeah, and just now I can say I knew Jesse before he had the TV show.
Dig it. The guy on the assembly line.
Yeah, he doesn't call me back anymore, but yeah.
No, we'll always be cool.
He's too big time now for me.
No. Well, we'll always be buds. I can see that.
Yeah, that'd be good, man. When do you plan on moving down to Texas?
Next year.
Yeah.
We've already looked at the house that we want to have built. We looked at the model, and it's a beautiful home. I'm so excited about it. It's got the ultimate man cave, so maybe I can have you come into town and you can hang out, show you a real good time right at the house, baby. I'm one of those guys who likes to have everything that I want to do at the house. Gina's talked me out of the horses. She's told me enough about how much work is involved in taking
Yes.
care of. I like to ride. I get on them and I ride. And she's talked to me about the stables, and she showed me diagrams that she's drawn of stables and how the efficient ways to water all the horses and to clean up and all that. I'm like, okay, I'm convinced. I don't want. Okay, we'll go somewhere.
I'll hook you up with some cowboy boots.
There you go. I appreciate that.
That's what I sell. That's what I do for a living. So,
cowboy boots?
Yeah, I sell cowboy boots and jeans. I work for Stetson, and
really,
so I sell to all the Western retail stores in California and Hawaii.
Oh, we got to talk. I just wore out my Cayman leather boots.
There you go.
My leather. I wish I had them in this room right now. I'll quickly show them to you, but
what you should do with those? You wore out the soles?
Not the soles so much. Well, I won't say where because I'm going to have them repaired because they're so expensive. I'm going to have them repaired. And I don't want anyone to know where that small area of repair is, but it's definitely not the soles.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say you could. They're converting them into roller skates. I've seen cowboy boots because, yeah, man. I'm
really. Okay. Well, I'm not going to do that. I think that's disrespectful to cowboy boots, but
I've seen it. Well, it's not really. I mean, it depends. If you're going rink skating, then it's totally acceptable. You get the little small wheels and you're good to go.
Yeah. I dig that. Well, for now, I'd like to look at some of your cowboy boots, see what you got.
Done. Yeah.
All right, cool. That'll work. So cowboy boots and TV shows. Those are 2 areas you're going to help me out in.
That I can do.
All right, cool.
The TV show is probably the least, but it's kind of. I think you'll be put it in motion.
Definitely.
Just put good things in motion.
All right. Well, that being said, you got anything else for me?
What's the best way for my listeners to follow up with you and what you got going on? You got your YouTube page?
Best way for the listeners to follow up with me or to keep track of what's happening with Jessie Peck and the Spinners would be to join me on Facebook, Jessie Peck with an I. Also on Instagram, Jessie.Peck37. Again, that I is in there. You could also log on to my website, jessiepeck.com. Just go to your computer, type in Jessie Peck, and something's going to happen. You can definitely stay in touch with me. You can inbox me through Messenger. I generally try to respond to most, of the messages that I get. Sometimes it keeps me pretty busy, but I think it's important to respond as best I can to fans that reach out. Just like when you reached out, I was pretty quick. We talked and like, oh, you do television, you do a TV podcast show, what have you? I'm like, great, that'd be awesome, man. Yeah. You asked, I jumped on it. That's really cool. If I could have found you before you found me, I would have hit you up first. So yeah, folks, that's how you catch up with me. Go to your computer and type Jessie Peck.
With an I.
And I'll be with an I, says Pete, and I'll be there. Thanks so much, Pete. It's been wonderful, man. I want to do this again. Can we do it again soon?
Yeah, let's in a few months. Let's especially if you're coming out to California.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do something in person.
Wow, yeah, that'd be great if we're close enough that I could actually come to your studio.
Well, studio's in my house, bro. So you're more than invited. But yeah, I mean,
that's cool.
So when I started the podcast, I did audio only.
Okay.
And so it was just a phone call, and I was recording it, and and then I had a guest want to do video, Tawny Katane, and
of
she was
course.
like, I prefer doing video, and I'm like, all right. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like literally had no clue. So I figured it out.
So Tawny was your first video host.
She was one of my first major one. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
She passed away 15 days after we did the interview.
Okay, that's spooky. Okay.
Yeah, it was at 59. She passed away at 59 from a heart attack, basically heart disease. And,
15 days after your interview with her.
Yes, sir. I haven't even posted it yet.
Is it safe to say that you have the last interview?
I do.
Tawny Katane?
That I know of, yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah, it was pretty trippy, dude, because she said no for like 6 months.
Wow.
To my request. And then I just stayed friends with her on Instagram, and then she started sending me messages. And, hey, this is great. Now, oh, that's so cool. That's pretty. Oh, your wife's not so pretty. Wow. And finally she goes, yeah, I'll do the show. And I'm like, oh, man, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm going to be real careful for the next 15 days. Drink lots of water, and
Well, no, so you're fine. Gina's down in Houston, you said.
Yeah.
She won't make it this far into the interview. You're safe.
This is the first interview that's going to get me in trouble. I know that.
Well, yeah, especially when I got to find her now, and I got to hit her up and say, you got to listen to this episode.
Thanks a lot, P. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
That's a real friend for you. That's a real friend.
I got you.
That's all good.
I got you.
All right. Well, I'm going to grab something to eat and reach back out to my fiance. I'm going to let her know some guy named Pete's going to call her. Ignore everything he says.
Yeah, it's all BS.
He's trying to come between you and me, baby. Don't listen. You going to listen to him or me? Yeah. You can't even say his last name. So how are you going to believe him?
Wait till you see how I promote your title on my website. It's going to be JESS capital I little E.
I love it.
All right, brother.
That's a great idea.
You'll stand it now. See that on your TV show, it should be the same way.
Right, and I'm picturing the JESS, then the capital I,
huge I,
and then I'm sitting on top of the I, my feet dangling over the edge of the I.
Just doing that.
Yeah. That is so cool.
You can't do the finger anymore. Arsenio had that down.
The finger.
Yeah, he always had that. He had the long finger. He always did the finger thing.
I did a finger thing, really?
No, Arsenio.
Oh yeah. That was.
You can't do that. You can't do the woof 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 woof.
Right. Yeah, one of my things is I beckon. I don't know what you call this, but I.
That's. See, don't throw that out there because now we all know how you got Gina.
Right.
The beckon look.
Yeah, the beckon, the peckin.
There it is.
The peck. I got to work on that. We're gonna call it something. I got to pat that. There's the finger again. Stop. Arsenio will get you. Anyway, I'm out of here, bro. Right, thanks so much, man.
Thanks, Jesse.
Been lots of fun. Thank you, my new friend.
I'm sure I'll talk to you soon. And maybe in Hawaii. That'd be awesome.
Well, we'll talk outside of the show. I want to talk about boots and I want to talk about my podcast. So
you got it, buddy.
Tell your wife hello.
I will. Thanks, brother.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks. All right.